Hi everyone, it's Marcie Besecker, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and welcome. And I am so sorry I am late, but it was for a very good reason. I am trying to sign on now, so hang with me for 1 second. My contractor showed up out of the blue. So it was a little unexpected, but that's all good. So I have lots to tell you about that. Let me skip my ads here. Hello, everybody. I'm not going to go backwards and say hi, but welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here, and I'm so sorry for the wait. So what happened was I had my contractor, you guys know I'm remodeling, and I had my contractor that was scheduled to come and work on our house, on my craft room, and it ended up that his mom ended up in the hospital, and he couldn't make it. So I was just making sure my volume's working. So we have a contractor we've used in the past and for different things, mostly electrical. And they're going to actually come and finish up my room for me next week. So we're a couple weeks behind because we had the other contractor kind of not able to come and has been crazy. And so they're just now leaving. So I'm like, I gotta go. So thank you for bearing with me while I met with him and we kind of worked out what they're going to be doing. So I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it so much. Ooh, I'm going to move my phone up. So this is going to shake a bit. So anyway, that's what I was doing. Sorry for the shaking, you guys. Hello, Danielle, Terry. Hello, Laura, Gloria, and everybody. I appreciate it so much. So some quick updates and some quick things to tell you. So that's kind of what's going on with my room. And we're going to visit my granddaughter. Friday is her birthday. And of course I want to go, but I've got so much stuff to do. But I'm going to put the room aside, put the remodeling aside, and go visit my granddaughter and spend some time. And we're going to get pedicures and do a little shopping and have some fun and spend time with her. She's 7 and she's so excited. So that's that. Now, on top of that, our remodel is everything we have. So remember Wednesday that I couldn't come and do a video, or what day was it? Sunday. Because we were going to go to Burbank to go get more counters, one more counter and some cabinets. So that morning was when the cabinets were available. So that would have been Saturday. I jumped online. They had 16 available. I only needed 8, my last cabinets that I needed. So I jumped online. I grabbed them and it said 16 available. I ordered 8. It said, Wendy, would you like to pick them up? And I said, oh, Sunday at 3 o'clock. That gives us plenty of time to get up, have breakfast, relax, go drive down there and pick them up. No rush. We pull into the parking lot. And I get a text message that says, oh, sorry, we only have 5 available and you're going to be short 3. And I was like, so I'm working with IKEA. They're trying to work with me and hopefully they're going to ship me the other ones eventually. They don't know what happened. And they said, oh, maybe they were damaged. And I said, so 11 were damaged and I got 5. Anyway, so my IKEA story goes on. So we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, get that figured out this next week also. All right, so Tulip class was a blast. Thank you, everybody that participated. I really appreciate it. Bingo last week was so much fun. Thank you for that too. So everything is sent out and on its way. Everybody should have everything by now. The waves class is coming up and I don't have a flyer for that yet. I do have one card created, so that is coming up. And this is the waves of the ocean. We're going to create 4 projects and it's going to be a lot of fun. And there is a sign up form on my post on my blog. So you can go there and check it out. And I'm going to show you that right now really quick. So when you go to my blog, let's see, You're going to go to the blog and you're going to go to shop. Okay. And then you're going to go right here to Bingo Paper Shares Classes and PDFs. Okay. So you're going to click on that. And this is where you're going to see the Waves of the Ocean online. And then there's the Waves of the Ocean online with no kit. You'll get the video link and a PDF. And the PDF could be descriptions with sizes and measurements. It could just be a supply list. But usually I put some kind of measurement in there for if there is a fancy fold or things like that. And I don't know yet. I don't have everything planned. I do have a fancy fold in mind, so you will get measurements for that for sure. The tulip class, if you're still interested, is right here. Now, when it is under this plan here with Bingo's Paper Share Classes and PDFs, you want to open the product. Don't just click Add to Cart. Okay, you want to open it up because this is where your information is going to be. Here is a sneak peek of the 4 cards for Bingo. You guys wanted scenes and animals, and there are scenes and animals in 3 of the cards. Okay, so there's that. And then the 4th card is, I want to show you a little bit about that set and stuff. So I did that. You're going to read your information here, and then you're going to register here, and then you're going to pay at the bottom. So see, you want to make sure you give me your numbers. And then you're going to register and click register here. Here is a supply list of what I used. So if there's anything in there that you want to get for the class, and then you can add it to cart and pay. Okay, but you want to make sure you register, and you want to make sure that we have everything figured out and paid and registered. So for those of you that have gone on and paid, then I have to go back and email you and say, please make sure you register, because we want to make sure that I get your numbers and your address and everything. So that being said, what I want to tell you also is with your addresses and information, please make sure you put the city, the state, and the zip. A lot of people will just put, the name of a city, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's in North Carolina. Well, when I look it up, it is not. It's like 3 different ones. So then I'm guessing because I don't know, or I have to email you. What I do with that information is it goes into a database on my blog. So that's where I have your emails. So for example, the tulip class, we got booted off. YouTube booted us off. So I transfer that to an Excel spreadsheet. I could highlight all those emails and email you all at one time and say, please go over to this link, because I had to start a second one. It wouldn't even let me go back into my first one. But we got it all figured out. But some of you I couldn't email because I don't have your email. So I had to kind of find it and get it and then, let you know. So that's one reason. Number 2, I do all my mail merging from there, from stamps.com. I have people that travel from place to place. And so they may want their kit delivered here one time and then here another time. So whatever address you give me on your registration is where it's going to go. So please make sure that you fill that out completely, and that would help greatly. I don't know why my screen is glitching, so hopefully I'm not going anywhere. So that form is really, really important, and that's how I find out get all your emails and all that stuff correctly and your mailing addresses. So that helps me too. And then when I'm mailing out your kits, I go by my blog. That way I have all the information. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I did the wave class. Bingo is coming up. We're going to have a lot of fun in March. I just showed you the sneak peeks for it. So I hope you don't forget and sign up. That'd be fantastic. I'd really appreciate it. And I think that's about all of our updates. Of course, down below is a link to Bingo, and not the Waves class yet because I'm just getting that all put together, but the dates are on there. Oh, good, you guys. Good, Laura. So let's get busy. I have a couple of things to show you here. We're going to make this really cute card. the moment I saw this card, I really wanted to do something with the layering vellum in the background. And so I was trying to figure out how to come up with that. And so it's just really cute. I have a couple of little tips and tricks on how to do it. I feel like I'm a little razzled because of the contractor guys coming. I told my husband they're going to call us and let us know if they can come by. And well, they showed up right when I messaged you guys. All right, so we're going to start out and we're going to have our thick basic white paper. What I did is I took some cinnamon cider and then of course another layer. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have just a strip of the paper here that I used in the background, and that's going to go on the inside. So let's go ahead and put this together first. Whew, I feel like I was rushing. I was also on the phone with AT&T. That's a whole nother weird story. I'm telling you, I have just had some weird stuff going on this week. I'm going to put this all the way across so that you don't want to just put a little line here, here, and here, because you're going to see that. So what I like to do is just do 2 solid lines, and we're just going to lay that down and go straight across. And so see, you really can't see it because you did 2 solid lines all the way across. Okay, so yeah, I went into AT&T. My phone's not charging very well, so I went in to go talk to them about an upgrade. I already kind of knew what I wanted, and the lady said, oh yeah, we can get it and you qualify for direct to you or something like that. And because I said just have it shipped to the store because I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I don't want it sitting in my mailbox. And she said, oh, well, you qualify for direct to you, which means somebody's going to come to your house tomorrow, bring you the phone, and set it up for you. I don't know what that means, but I'm like, okay. But I'm not going to be there, so I don't want that. Just have them bring it to the store, and I'll pick it up next week. See, there you go. Look how cute that looks. I love this cinnamon cider paper. So pretty. All right, so now here's our background. And we're going to layer these up. This one is 4 1/8 by 5 3. No. 3/16. Okay, so we're going to put that. I wanted to see the blue, but not a whole lot. And then the cinnamon is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. And I wanted to see a lot more cinnamon, so this is 3 3/4 by 5. So let's go ahead and layer these up because we're really focusing on the book part. When you put the book on here, it pretty much covers up the whole inside. So basically what I did is I just kind of did an X. Okay, I just did an X. It's going to be plenty to hold it on there. We're going to put it right on our paper. All right, and then you're going to see that, but don't worry about it because we're going to cover that all up. So anyway, I said, well, then she goes, yeah, we can't do that. We can't change the date. And I said, well, then forget it. I'll either order it online or come back on Monday because I don't want them to go to my house. I'm not even there. All right, so then we're going to layer this up. Easy peasy, and I'll make a nice sturdy card. And so I decided to come home, and I thought, well, I'm just going to do it online because it'll come and it'll be here, early next week, and I'll be back already, and that's perfect. Well, when I went online, it said, 36 or 36 payments or whatever, and it's already in the system, and I had a new phone coming, and I'm like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? Okay, so now our card base is all ready. I normally don't like to add this on the card base, but because we're going to be layering everything up on top of it, there's no ribbon around it. There's nothing we can do that's going to mess that up. So we're just going to set that one aside. And we're going to bring in our Stamparatus. And I have the stamp on here. And there's a couple things I wanted to try. And I'll show you. Let's stamp this first. So here's our paper. We're going to put it right about there. And get a nice, crisp black image with our memento. We're going to be using memento because we're using alcohol markers. But we're going to try a couple other little ideas here that I had. So let's put this under here. It's so funny, my normal stamping room, you can't hear anything, and in here, you hear everything. All right, let's... All right, I am not seeing my comments. Okay, so see, this one is a little bit touchy, and I noticed this the last time, and I still see the ink right there, so I just have to press on that side just a little bit more. But I'm going to add it everywhere because I want it really nice and black and crisp, so I'm going to go along this side a little bit better. Okay, and we're just going to do memento, and we're going to use alcohol inks on this. All right. All right, I want a little bit more just right there on this edge. Everything else looks good. Okay, so that looks good. Oh, I want this one a little bit more. Now, another thing you can do is once you ink this up, if you take a dauber with your black ink and really kind of get into the grooves and stuff, you can get a little bit of a better impression. But okay, so I am good with that. So let's take this out. And let me wipe this really quick. Get the big part off for now, and I'll clean that later. All right. All right, so now what I wanted to try, so when I did this card, I did just the memento ink and I did alcohol markers. But then I started thinking that what if I wanted to emboss? So I embossed a couple, and don't worry about the outside because we're fussy cutting this anyway. But this is just black embossing powder, and I can tell you right now that this will not work, and I will show you. I don't know how long it will take, but let's just take a darker color like Bermuda Bay. And let's just say we're going to color this right here. Oh, that's too dark. I want you to be able to see it. Let's take Daffodil Delight. And we're going to just go like this and go all the way around. And you can already tell that this black is smudging a little bit. It might be hard to tell on the camera, but it's smudging because I used black embossing powder. All right, so when you're going, and you could try to go around the letters, and you know, that would probably be okay. But it does have room for error. The alcohol to me is on top of the letters. It just starts to get this ugly black look. What I have not tried, and what I wanted to try and show you, is we'll look at it together. I'm going to take my pad here, and let's go underneath because I'm going to kind of wipe that off over here. Now we're going to take this, and normally you don't want to use alcohol markers with StazOn ink, but I used black StazOn, which I need to re-ink a little bit, but StazOn with clear embossing powder. Now this I have not tried yet, so we're going to just try it and see what it does and see if we have any issues. Okay, I'm just going to keep going over a couple things, and it looks okay. I don't see any issues with that. So if you wanted to do black StazOn ink with clear embossing powder over it, there's no problem. There's no black. It's not running. There is no issues on this one like there was on this one. So if you can see the difference. Okay, so if you do want embossing powder, use the StazOn over and use just clear. Yeah, I've noticed that too with black embossing powder. It does not work so well, but I wondered if I used clear, if it would be a problem, but it seems to look fine doing the clear. Now, I don't know. We'll check and see what it looks like at the end of the video, but we know that black embossing powder is a no. Hi, Julie. How are you? Hi, Sally. Okay, so we're going to go with this one. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of try and copy my colors, and I'll tell you what I'm using as I go. So I'm going to start with the pale papaya first, and I used the light and the dark. Okay, so let's take the dark, and I just kind of lightly went around just a little bit around the outside of the cup and down. And then I just did some quick little brush strokes. Again, I am no expert at alcohol markers or coloring or drawing or anything, but I wanted to add just a little bit of a shade. And then in the glasses here, and then just down the side a little bit right there. Okay, so there's your cup. And I guess let's do this too. We're going to take, I want to do the light there. We're going to do dark right here, just on the ribbon a little bit, just like it's a little shadow. All right, I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit. Okay, so there we go. If it's too close for you guys, let me know. Then I'm going to take the light, and I'm going to kind of blend this little ribbon a little bit. Just a little. I like that dark line there because it just kind of looks like a shadow. And then I'm going to take the light, and I don't even really need to blend it that much. All right, and we're just going to fill that in. I can't believe the contractor guy showed up right when my video was supposed to start. Thank you so much, you guys, for being patient, for starting a little late. I was like, no. I already told my husband, okay, they're coming. You need to meet with them. This is what's happening. And right as I'm telling him, they start showing up. And I'm like, oof, okay, let's just get this out of the way. All right, so there's that. Nice and simple. And remember, you're going to be cutting this out, fussy cutting it, and then I've got a little tip, a trick for the end there that is not going to be a worry if you have a little bit of outside the edges. All right, we're going to do the bottom of the cup in the dark just because it looks like it's at the shadow at the bottom. All right, so I'm going back to the light. And now what I did is I kind of picked and chose just little areas. And I don't do a whole lot of shading on here just because there was just a lot of little pieces and I just kind of was playing like, okay, what colors do I want what? I kind of picked out my shade and my theme of colors. All right, so there's that. And I decided to do the book. And I kind of just spreading the colors like sporadically through, so you can kind of see, okay, this just kind of goes like that, so it's not going to be like all clumped up in the same colors. So that is what I did with the papaya colors, pale papaya. Okay, then I brought in olive, and I brought in the light old olive and the dark. The dark, I'm going to just barely touch in the center of these leaves, just to add like a little stem that you might even not see on there, and that's okay. And then here too, on these little flowers. And oops, we got the little flowers here. Just add a little bit of dark, and then take the light old olive. And I tend to use the smaller tip a lot. All right, so we're going to just kind of color those in. And they're so little, you don't need to try to blend them too much. You want to see that darker line on there. But you do want to color in the leaf and not leave any white. And do these little ones down here. All right. Oops, we forgot the flower. So just kind of pick your color theme. The other thing you can do, like I chose not to use DSP behind here, but you could pick a DSP and then choose your colors from the DSP. The problem with doing a busy DSP in the background is this is a busy stamp also. So you might want to tone it down with like some vellum behind it or something like that to just kind of tone it down a little bit. So now I went to the light balmy blue, and I'm going to do this one here and just fill this in. Now remember, you're still going over black ink. I kind of go around the edges first just to get it inside, and then I'm going to take the larger brush and try to do as least amount of strokes as I can. I don't want it to get too saturated and too wet, because then you're going to have either your paper like balling up on you, or the ink may start to get kind of, you know, too wet, and you just don't want to do that. So I'm also going to take the light blue, and I'm going to do our flower in light blue. And this is exactly how I did this, is I just kind of was like, okay, what color next? And I just kind of picked and choose. Here's the light. We're going to go back here because I forgot the center, even though we're going to add a little rhinestone on there. Hi, Rebecca. How are you? All right. So now I took out the Misty Moonlight and also the Night of Navy, and I'm not going to remember what's what on here, so we're just going to kind of go for it, and I will try to see what color was what. Okay, so this was the chapter color here. Let's see, this one is Misty Moonlight, and that was the light, and this is the dark. So okay, so that's the dark. I can tell my Misty Moonlight, all my stuff is out in storage, and I need to update some of these, are getting old. All right, we're going to just do this one here. Again, I'm just going to kind of go on the outside, and I like to go around my images like this one. I like to come from the right to the left because I can see where my marker's going to go. So as much as I can. All right, so that's all filled in. Don't forget this little tiny spot. And then we're going to go down the edge. Okay, and now if your large marker is okay, thanks, Lynn, I appreciate it. Hi, Kathy. And then again, try to do as many strokes as you can. Just kind of take it down. You can go back over some spots if you need to, but it kind of leaves that too dark. It doesn't make it too dark. And then I'm going to show you, as you see how this looks kind of more rustic, and I'm going to show you how I did that when we're done. All right, so I think, let's see, this one is the light Night of Navy. And I'm trying to see, I think we're going to go, see, this is what we need to do, is figure out what these are. Here's the dark. Okay, the dark Night of Navy goes down here. So we're going to do this one. And the dark Night of Navy. I kind of wanted to do all browns and blues. Just kind of make it a rustic look. I think this would be a good guy card too, except I was going to put these little rhinestones on the edges of the glasses. That probably wouldn't make it a guy card. Hi Cindy, how are you? All right. So, you know, you don't have to do all the shading and get all fancy. This is going to be dark, but I'm going to show you how I made it a little more rustic, vintage, whatever looking. I guess that's not really the word. It's more of a used bookstore kind of thing. But I just love this stamp set. And when I saw this vellum, that was the first thing I thought of, and I just haven't had a chance to do it. And I'm getting ready for our next 2 classes, and then I was like, oh, I need to do that book card. That's what I'm going to do. This last month has been like a whirlwind. Busy, but I'm impatient about waiting for my contractor, so I'm glad that they're coming. Thank goodness. All right, so there's our darker blue. And this is the dark Night of Navy. And this one is the light Night of Navy. Let's see. So this one, I think I already did that one. Okay, I have a weird color. The one that looks a little more, not this one. Maybe it's this one. I'm trying to find this color up here, and I know I used one of these. I just have to figure out which one it is. Ah, it's this one. Okay, so this one is the light Night of Navy. And we're going to put this up here. And so I did the inside. And if it's not, it's close. I just want them to look different than the one below it. All right, so we're going to do the Night of Navy here, the light. And now we're going to hear my kitty. Okay, so I did all the outside now, same thing. You see there's no really shading. You could cut the glasses and cup off. Yes, Sally, you absolutely could. The other thing I thought would be fun is like maybe this book right here, cut that off and pop it up on top. You know, just to make it look a little more 3D. You could cut each book and layer them up. Okay, so that could be, you know, a really fun thing too, is you could really layer those up and do really a 3D kind of card. Would be fun. So see, I mean, it would be a nice even cut, all these books, and cut them up would be a lot of fun. Okay, so my glasses, I think I'm gonna do whatever that color is. Not that one. Oh, it could have been that one. Let's keep that one aside. Okay, I think it is this one. We're going to go with this one and do our glasses. Oh, that's kind of dark. So I don't like that it's a little dark, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to make these even our glasses out. And then we're going to take our dark balmy blue, I think. Yeah, let's take our dark balmy blue and blend it in. We're going to go and blend these in. I don't want the dark to be right next to the book because I think that was the same color. So we're going to just blend them. Make them like an ombre two-tone. Look at that, you can hardly tell. Okay. There we go. Yay. There are a lot of options to this. Okay, so now what I did is I brought in the cinnamon cider. So we'll move the blues. I think we're done with the blues. We'll bring in the cinnamon cider. I also used the bronze. And I can't remember. One of them is almost dry. This one. I don't know why I keep putting it back in my holder, but so there's that. And we are going to bring in 400, oh, I think it was 500. So 500 of the skin tone colors. I love these skin tone colors. I want to get another set and sometime soon. All right, so I'm going to go first with the smaller. I do too. Cinnamon cider is one of my favorites, and I don't use it nearly enough. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the cinnamon cider. Oh, this is the 500. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's do. This is light. Let's see. My cinnamon ciders are running out too. I use them too much. Okay, this is the dark. All right, so I'm going to do the dark first, which is up here. I know that. So we're going to do this. Let's do our edges. Okay, and then I did all of the edges on this book. So see, it's really easy, and actually this is really relaxing. I hope my head's not in the way. Oh, I know, Cindy. I liked that one too. You guys, if you don't have the skin tone colors, I really think you'll like those. I may have got this hair, but it won't leave me alone. Because these browns are just so fun. All right, so we're going to color this. And wait until you see how I do this to make this a vintage, more vintage looking. A couple tips and tricks I have for this one, this card. All right, so that's our darker there. I'm going to do the darker around the edge here. So just kind of pick and choose, spread it out a little bit. I'm going to do this one. And I'm not going to do the edge this one because you can see you can't see that one. So I think we're good there. And this is dark cinnamon. And this is the light cinnamon. So this is what I used for the light, I believe. So I'm going to go on the dark line. I'm just going to do a dark line, some dots, just kind of accent a little bit. And then I'm going to do this line right here dark because it's kind of in between the two books. So it's a little darker spot. And I'm going to do this one down here. It might look a little different, but that's okay. I'm going to do that. All right, it's hard because once you vintage it and do what I did, then the colors kind of change anyway. Oh, I'm glad you're liking it. Hi, Carol. I know, Gloria, and they warned us and said they were going to sell out quick. They'll be back, and I will stock up, trust me. All right, so I'm going to take the larger one, and I should have went around the edge with the smaller, but that's okay. We're going to do it really lightly. Have a nice big book here. Don't have to worry too much. If you have a lot of stuff on the inside and you're worried about it, I would definitely go with the small one, but this one is pretty open. Just don't go over your leaves. Okay, so there's that. And we're going to go with a lighter brown, and I'm trying to remember. Oh, you know what I think I did is I did the peach, or the pear, geez, pale papaya, and I did this one. Oh, I already did this one. Okay, I'm going to go in a little bit more. All right, so I did that, and then for the other books, I did a light, let's see this one. That's not light enough. I'm going to check the bronze, and this is how I do it. I just keep doing my little colors until I decide on what I want to do. And so let's check the 500. Don't want that. So I'm going to pull out 300. Let's see what this looks like. And so this is kind of, ooh, that's dark. This is kind of how I do it, is I just kind of keep going until you kind of get, oh, I knew that would happen. So another thing that's been happening this week is I think the dust from our construction and stuff has been playing with our smoke detector, because our house is perfectly fine and yet our smoke detector just kind of randomly goes off now and again. So I'm so sorry, but I jumped out of my skin on that one. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one, and we're just going to fill these in, and I'm just going to put a couple lines loosely. So I'm just going to kind of go right down the sides. Okay, sorry about that noise. Oh, I jumped. So my poor grandson was here the other day, and he about jumped out of his skin when that went off. Okay, so I'm going to take bronze, and I'm just going to color this in just a different color. And I know it looks different than that does, but that's okay. And you're going to see what we're going to do, and it's going to all look just fine. Okay, everything looks done. Now my first option I did was I colored the inside of the glasses, and I did a little bit of smoky slate and kind of blended it. And then I realized you don't need it, because we cut it out. So if you see on this one, I decided to cut it out, and I'm just noticing there's a little white spot right there. You see that? So what I'm going to do is take my pen, and I'm just going to color that little black mark right in there, like it's just a shadow and you can't even see it. So there you go. Okay, so now what I did is I took ivory. So I'm going to take my ivory and I'm going to go over the books on the edges. So now they look kind of, so see the difference between this one and this one? I mean, it might be really hard to tell. You can probably see a little better here with the white. Yeah, it's been going off, and I'm a little concerned because we're going out of town, and it's just been randomly. And sometimes it goes off for like a minute, and then other times it does exactly what it just did. And not even a minute, probably 15 seconds. It feels like a half hour. Especially when my grandson's telling me that the firemen are going to come. The firemen are coming. Okay, so then I take my ivory, and this is what I did to kind of age it, is take your ivory. I started with the brown because it is the lighter color, and then I go to the blues. And just take your ivory and just kind of go over, not a whole lot, but see the difference? Okay, now watch this. I'll do part of it. So we're going to do a little up here on the blue, and a little over here. You don't really have to do it on the lighter colors. And then watch, this will be half. So see how it looks a little more distressed? So now I'm just going to go over it just a little bit, just to kind of, and I'm just going to wipe that off. And then I'm going to come over on, let's do the light blue first. And I don't even touch the brown. If it goes over on the brown, that's fine. But it's ivory, so it's going to give it that kind of a yellowishy look. So it kind of, you know, ages it a bit. And now I'm going to come over here on this blue. And I did the same thing I did yesterday, and the yellow's kind of right there on the friendship. Okay, and I like to do it with the brush just because it kind of gives it more of a even tone. So just kind of go back and forth. Okay, and then where I went there, I'm just going to bring out the light blue again, and I'm going to take it and I'm just going to go straight across. This is the dark doll. Okay, light blue. And I'm just going to come across and then just go again. Okay, so just darken it up a little bit, and that's fine. Because then instead of taking the ivory, I'm going to come with the color lifter. And now I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to go over that blue and lighten it up just a little bit. Okay, so you can lighten it up just a little. And this one, if you wanted to lighten it up again, okay. Exactly, it's like a tea stain, you're right. Hi, Olivia, you are live. All right, so that is what we did. Now I'm going to show you some tips and tricks, and we are showing you this from the get-go. So let me find some good scissors here, I hope. All right, so let me cut this out real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to make it quick. Now I'm trying to go as close as I can, but not on the black line. So don't worry about going on the black line, but I want to go right next to it. And if you leave a little white here and there, don't worry about it. I have a couple of tricks to show you. All right, so now when I come straight like this, I'm just going to cut that off because the less hanging paper, the better, right? Remember, you're turning your project, not your scissors. All right. And I like to leave a little jig-jags where they show you zigzags. That's where I want to go. I don't like to cut super smooth because, see, even that book, I'm curving it to go with the image. But like on the paper edges, I like to leave a little paper edge, like little zigzags. Right about here, I'm going to cut that off because now we're going to get a little more intricate right here. All right. So just go around, like I said, close as you can, but not necessarily on the line. Okay. Some people like to fussy cut and they do this. Right at the tip. I don't like to do it at the tip. I like to do it down at the bottom because that gives me way more time. And it doesn't have to be all the way to the bottom, but right about here. And then that way I can go around and then I can make a nice long cut. All right, we're going to come around. And again, just move your paper. Okay, and right here, cut again. It's easier than having all that paper. And I know sometimes, you know, you do a little challenge and be like, okay, how long can I make this fussy cut piece of paper that I'm cutting away? But it really does make your job harder. All right, so I'm going to cut right along with these papers. If you haven't signed up for bingo at the beginning of the video, I showed you exactly how to do it. But the best and easiest way is there's a link below, and it'll take you right to where you need to go, and you can register and pay and everything all at one time. Just make sure you fill out your numbers and register. Also, not just pay. I need to have your numbers and your address and all that good stuff. I've had a friend over today, and she looked at the cards and was like, oh my gosh, she loved them. So, okay, so there's your image. Now, it would be wonderful if you could just, wouldn't it be nice if there was a pen that you could just erase white and it would just look see-through, but it doesn't. So this is what we're going to do. So let's start with the glasses. What you're going to do is you're going to take, and these are super sharp scissors, so be really careful. Put your scissors right through the middle of the thing. Another thing you could do is take your pokey tool. I don't know where one's at, but take a pokey tool and just poke a little hole right in the middle, and you can take your piercing mat, which is somewhere right here, and you could take it and poke a hole right in the middle there, right in the middle there, right in the middle there, and right in the middle there. Okay, so take that, then take your scissors, and what you want to do is you want to cut. Okay, just make a little cut that way. It doesn't even have to go all the way to the edge. And a little cut over this way. Okay, now you can get your scissors in and kind of go cutting towards the line. Always cut to where you can see the paper that's on the left and your cutting's on the right, or however you're used to cutting. You want to make sure that you're cutting. I need to go to the edge a little more right there. And now, because I've got that opening in the middle, it's way easier. And now you will be cutting along the edges of your scissors on the tips. And this is what I find easiest for me. And I do little snips at a time because I don't want to go through the black and mess up my project. So just slowly, and you're going to say, oh, there's still white. It looks terrible. And I'm going to show you how to fix that. So just keep snipping. I'm all the way up here. I had Chinese food today, and it was the first time in a long time. It was so good. My husband came home, and he's like, oh, are we having the leftovers from your lunch for dinner? And I'm like, yep. And he goes, oh, is there enough for both of us? Or... And I'm like, there's enough for the neighborhood. They gave us so much food. All right, so slowly, okay. So there we go. Nice and slow around. Oh, I was out of camera. Sorry. Oh, you guys, I just looked up. All right, let me pull this out just a tad now that I'm not coloring. See, I got all into it. I'm like, okay, let's just keep cutting. Okay. All right, sorry about that. All right, so now again, now you're going to go through. Be careful, you don't want to do too much. You're going to cut that way. And I'm going to cut this way. Just a little snip. Okay, and this way and this way. So you kind of make like a little cross, a little X. And now you have enough room to kind of maneuver. And cut a little at a time. Okay. And now you just keep cutting a little at a time. And now when you get to the bottom of that X, a piece is going to fall off. I know, it seems like, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. Now, I don't know that I would want to make, 100 of these. But I think this is such a cute card. And it's really easy. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Hi, Mary. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. A thumbs up is so helpful, you guys. You just don't even know. thumbs up, comments, and when you come back to any video, comment. Of course, if you're, you know, even commercials, I know as sad as that is, and I find myself sometimes skipping commercials, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I should have let it run and go get myself some iced tea, because that does help people. So I know I don't like watching them either, so I don't blame you. All right, so then 2 more little spots here. I'm gonna leave that one like I did in the other one. We'll just color it black, no big deal. And so we're gonna cut this. So don't be afraid to cut out the pieces in the middle. Okay, so just make your little cuts. So see, just like that, just make your little cuts all the way. And just keep snipping. So yes, for you Oregonians, I'm headed to Springfield and Eugene tomorrow. I'm so excited to go to Cafe Yum. I like Cafe Yum. It's one of the things we do is every time we get into town, our first night we have Cafe Yum for dinner after our 11 to 12 hour drive. But that's what we will do. All right, so we're almost getting there. I know this is the part that, like I said, I originally colored it with some smoky slate, and then I was like, I just didn't like the look of it, and I wanted to change it. It just, I don't know. I think it's because this one was grayed a little bit, like, you know, regular glasses. You can't make them sunglasses. You're not going to read with your sunglasses on unless you're by a pool. And so I was like, I don't want to make them sunglasses. And I think with having that cup behind the other one, it just looked too weird not to cut them out. So this one has some fuzzy, so I want to get a little closer. So just keep snipping until you get what you want. Okay, and now one more little part. So we're going to snip. Oh, Debbie, really? Yeah, I got to know Eugene pretty good, but then she moved to Springfield. And we don't go to Eugene as much unless we're going. And she says I say it wrong. She says, it's Eugene, Mom, not Eugene. I'm like, yeah, well, you know. I say Eugene. She says, it's Eugene. So she makes fun of me the way I say it. We got caught in the duck traffic one day. It was Oregon versus Oregon, I think, and they were in Eugene, and oh my goodness, that was the wrong thing to do. Those people are walking down the street with their fingers and their, you know, their little duck gear, and it was hilarious. I live right next to Fresno State, and I don't think I've seen such crazy people like in Eugene. Okay. They are some fans there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our card in. Woohoo! All the hard parts done, and you're going to be like, yes. Now, what you want to do is, you've seen me do this before, is you're going to take your black marker, you're going to take the fuzzy, the big side, the brush side, and you're going to go from the back. Okay, so I'm going to do it all the way around. And this is where, if you have little bits of white, you can go from the front if you have a little piece that's like in a corner, but be very careful because it's so easy. I'd rather lean forward a little bit to get those corners than to do this, because it's so easy for your hand to move, and then you're going to have a big old black mark, and you don't want that. So do this. And you're just finishing it off, and you're taking all that white off the edges. See that? See the white on the other edges? I don't know if I get close, it gets crazy, but see, there's a lot of white. There's a little bits of white that I missed, definitely around the glasses and the cup. So I'm going to color this little black area before I forget, right there. Okay, and now we're going to come back down. And then, now remember, this is going to be wet, so be careful of your hand. You don't want to get that ink all over and then transfer it to your project, especially if you have like a white card base. Okay, so see how I'm coming up a little bit? There's a little bit right there. And then I'm going to go back. All right, so just kind of finish it off. Now, no one will notice your lovely, not so perfect fussy cutting. Ta-da! All right, we're going to come up the glasses. Be careful, the glasses bend. They're super fragile, especially when you've been poking scissors to them. You want to be careful, so kind of hold on to them. Cover that. Now, you're going to do the same thing for the inside of your glasses. Come up the inside, and now you're just going to tap, 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 just kind of get it around. All right, come up from the back. It's just much easier. Now, right here, I'm going to come from the front, and I'm just going to hold my project down and carefully, because I've got a pretty big black spot right there. So it's okay that I'm doing that. Now I'm going to do the front from over here carefully and slowly, because there's a bit of black. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the back. So just make sure your hands are very secure. Like this spot right here, I really could have cut that out a little bit better, but I'm just going to put it down really carefully. And again, it's a marker. You want to make sure you don't hold it down, because it'll just start bleeding and all over the place, and you'll have a big old black spot. So kind of keep it moving. Okay, so you can kind of tell up here that I probably could have trimmed a little better. All right, way cute. Is that the one stamp? Yeah, this is one stamp. Yep. Okay, now I have this cup over here, so I'm going to start from the back and see how much I can get of it. It's a little hard spot. Okay, but now I'm going to go down again. And again, just secure yourself. And you know what? I'm going to switch, because it's really small. And I'm going to just put this down, and I'm going to go like this. Just kind of get in there and get right where you need. Slowly make little tiny strokes. Make sure you get what you want. Okay, and I think that's good. So there we go. Now we're going to bring this in, and let's not forget our denim ribbon. Now I haven't even used this denim ribbon yet, because I know it goes with that other, the honeybee bloom, that set, but I have not used it yet. So I'm going to cut this ribbon about right here. And now all I did is I cut a little V. It doesn't have to be too big, too small, just kind of, you know, like this ribbon here. And I thought the denim worked perfect with this. So go in and in. All right, so now what I did, I hope you guys are learning something. My whole thing about doing my videos is I really, really like it when people learn things. And everybody, I had a lot of people email me and say, oh my gosh, I learned this, I learned that. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate that so much, because, and a lot of people are like, I don't want to bother you. I just want to let you know. That is no bother. That just makes me so happy. And, oh, I got cards to show you too. I don't want to forget. That just makes me so happy, because that makes me realize that you guys like what I'm doing. You're learning something, and that's what I want. That is what I mean, yes, of course I want customers, and of course I would love new teammates and all that, and that'll come. That'll happen. But just being able to teach people just makes me happy. My husband's like, you realize that you have demonstrators watching you and they're learning. And I'm like, I learn from them. I mean, I'm always watching and getting ideas and you know, color combinations or techniques or whatever that I may not know or I may have forgotten. And now I do put a lot of dimensionals on this one, I'm going to tell you, because I just want all my books. I'm not going to put anything here right now, so I'm going to put one right there. And so I just kind of make sure like every other book or in between, whatever. And it's kind of big, so I'm going to put one in the middle. And yeah, you know. All right. So that's a lot, but I'm going to put a little one right there. I got to make sure my glasses aren't going to go anywhere. So we'll take one little one and put it right there. And then what I do is I cut off the little tips. I just want to make sure that that's not going to go anywhere. So I just cut off the tips of the little dimensional. Oh, it's not gonna, it's gonna make me get in there. There we go. All right. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Yeah, so when you guys give me a thumbs up or you make a comment or you say, oh, you know, I love this or I saw this or now I bought the set, that just makes it worth it for me. And when I'm not here, that just makes me sad. All right, so what I did is I angled this to give it that kind of different feel, but I still went straight, and the words really help. You can just kind of line your words up. I'm going to do that one just a little lower than I did this one, not much. And let's not forget our rhinestones. And I have my champagne. I tried everything. So I did the in color, and I brought out the Misty Moonlight, and I didn't like it. You know, the little square ones. I didn't like those. I tried the brushed metallic ones. Didn't like that. And I wanted to put a little one in the middle of that flower. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll do regular rhinestones or black. But I didn't like the black. And so then I said, ooh, champagne. And I love the champagne ones. Oops, is this the smallest? Yeah. And I love the champagne one, so I decided, all right, that's what I have to do. And then I added one just right here in the middle of each leaf. I have one loose somewhere, right here. And I added that. And then I was like, okay, now I need to add my normal 3. So we're going to add one there. Now you can tell, I can tell, I don't know if you can, but I did the adhesive and it went a little too far out on the edge, but you can't really see it that well. We won't tell anybody. They won't even know. Because we're going to put the stone up here and it'll bring their eye up here, not right here, where my adhesive is at. Okay, so there we go. Now I did, like I said, I did put some, watch, I'll show you. I put one right there. Remember Grandma's glasses? I think my mom even had some of these. Look. How cute those little glasses are. Remember when Grandma or Mom used to wear the glasses with the little rhinestones on them? Mine have leopard, no rhinestones. All right, there we go. So there's our cute card. That's the inside. And I just love it. So you can change up the colors and, you know, pick 2 of your colors in the background and a ribbon that you want, and then go with, you know, put this vellum down. It's great. And this vellum came from the Vellum Layering Designs. Remember, this one has